So while the Hilux has been getting some much needed to maintenance here at Terrain Tamer, Nicky had actually borrowed me his 105 4.2 donkey to drive around in the meantime. And I sort of fell in love with it, and I bought one for myself. Not exactly the same. Let me show you. So what did I get for myself? Well, I picked up a 100 series 4.2 1HD FTE automatic for an absolutely ripper of a price. It needs a bit of love. It's probably going to fail its roadworthy, and this is going to be a fantastic project vehicle moving forward. I've got a lot of great plans for it, nothing too ambitious, more about getting back to the basics, winding back the clock a little bit and just taking it back to when things were nice and simple and we didn't have all sorts of fancy, crazy air fryers and coffee machines and every single piece of equipment under the sun. The 100 series is going to be about just taking it back to the simple things: a good campfire, a beautiful, reliable vehicle, and good times with family and friends. And this is the beginning of that journey. When it comes to the word Landcruiser, there's one company that comes to mind as well, and that is Terrain Tamer. And I've been working with Terrain Tamer for a good couple of years now on the Hilux, and every time I go through the catalogs and I see what they have for the Landcruisers, I just get so jealous. And we did Rolfie's Landcruiser build, we've done the Isuzu, we've done a couple really great projects with Terrain Tamer. And I knew immediately when I picked up this vehicle that we were going to be heading through to visit Nicky and Andrew and Marinus and everyone here at Terrain Tamer who are just as excited about this vehicle as I am and what it represents. Because we go camping a lot together, and it's great getting these old rigs out, and it's a lot of fun. So we do really enjoy working on these types of vehicles and getting these processes going and seeing the transformation of something that has traveled all around Africa and beyond over all its years being, given the respect it's earned. So the main focus initially is going to be, let's check the vehicle, get all the basics and stuff done on it, and then we can focus on all the nice shiny things. There's not going to be too many shiny things, but there is a lot that this vehicle needs, and I want a good baseline for going forward with this vehicle. I want to know what maintenance it needs next. I want to know, that the brake fluid is fresh, that the oil is fresh, that the transmission fluids are fresh. I want to know where this thing begins, and it begins its journey with me and my family moving forward. So first things first, we have to get this vehicle past the roadworthy. I went through to go get the roadworthy done. It failed. Failed on a few major elements. Tires, first of all, terrible. Second of all, the shock absorbers, not great. Third, there's an oil leak on the engine somewhere, so we've got to investigate that. Fourth, the brakes needed to be bled. So that's actually not that bad. This we can do in a week, get all these little bits and pieces done, and we can move forward with this project quite comfortably. Another note that they made on the roadworthy was just to check the bushes because they are getting soft. So that is something that we don't have to do right away to get the vehicle legal, but it is something we are going to need to do at some point. So we will definitely look at that. There are also a few little clunks and noises and things that I feel in the vehicle that I'd like to also get addressed. So at some point we're going to go through all of those and see what we can identify and just how nice can we get this vehicle. So there's definitely the safety elements, there's the roadworthy elements, there's the performance elements, but there is also the comfort elements, and that is something that I'd like to address as well. So that means going through the vehicle, putting in some sound deadening, giving it a good clean, updating the infotainment system and stuff like that, just bringing it to a little bit more of a modern level and something that I'm more accustomed to with the Hilux. And just, it's an old truck, like the priorities were a bit different, and I would like to just do a few things to make it my vehicle. This is by no means going to be a budget build. This is going to be really more of a passion build. The things that I want to do to this vehicle and I want to put in this vehicle is all stuff that I really love, and I'm trying to condense the camping experience into a very simple process. So this is going to be, I would say, more of a minimalist build, but not too minimal. I've been cruising around and this thing is making a hell of a racket. The tires are completely terribly worn. Definitely hasn't been a wheel alignment done on this vehicle in a while, and there's a few flat spots and things like that, and the tires are really feeling unsafe, making a lot of noise and being very unpleasant. So at the moment I'm here at Space Drive in Montague Gardens, and I am going to be putting on some new rubber, and the tire of choice is going to be the General Grabber ATX. It's what I'm running on the Hilux. It is a fantastic tire, great all-rounder, very tough, very rugged, probably a bit too rugged for this vehicle, but it's what they have in the size as well. I would have definitely gone for an AT3 on this vehicle. That is more than adequate for what I intend to do with this vehicle, but having that little bit of extra leeway on the ATX, maybe we can have some fun with this truck at some point. So, but for now, I think it's going to be a huge transformation just getting some new rubber on the car. So, looking very much so, looking forward to it. So I have sort of begun on a few little interior projects on the 100 series. I've basically stripped out the carpets in the back, all the bodywork and everything, and I'm basically going to be doing a bit of sound deadening. So I've just arrived today. I just need to prepare the surface in the back here and just get in there, lay down some sound deadening, just doing a few little things, cleaning up and doing a bit of prep and making nice from the inside out. I'm not looking to do too many things to the vehicle, but there's a few things I'd like to have on the truck just to you know, make it nice. And while everything's stripped, I also want to look at running some 12-volt wiring and stuff, and I can always hook that up at a later stage, but at least it's in. And because I'm going to be getting under all the carpets, the seats are going to be coming out, a whole bunch of stuff's going to be happening in and around the interior of this vehicle. So I just thought, let me do that all once, get it all clean, get it all protected, fix a bit of rust here and there, and just start from a really good base platform moving onwards. So it's come very highly recommended to use this Dr. Artex Gold HD all the way from Rolfie. He says don't bother with anything else. I did, however, get another box of what's called the Iridium, which is a bit lighter, and I'm going to probably put on these sort of areas there, and then this gold I'm going to try and do the floor, wheel arches, transmission tunnel, under the seats, all the way up there. I cannot believe the size of the rear shock absorbers on this car. This thing is massive. Whew. Cruisers, they really are a different breed, eh? But while we got it open and we're looking at everything, we can start making a list of everything that needs to be kind of be done from that point. Yeah. What do you think of the brake discs? How are they looking?
They feel nice and thick.
Yeah. But so we don't have to rush to do that.
That's not Terrain Tamer's high performance brake discs. We'll change.
So yeah, we will change them. Main thing, let's get this thing roadworthy, so we can then from then on start making it real nice. You like.
Have you seen Andrew?
So compression is fine, but there's no rebound control. And that's your stability, that rebound.
That's not it.
Yeah.
Had hy nou begin gaan hoor. Ja. En bigger size of it.
It's quite a chunky, voluminous. So what we found is that the front torsion bars, when we did the initial measurements, it's a small thing to do, but when we did the initial measurements, we noticed that the wrong side of the car was standing up high for that classic Toyota tilt. And now looking at the torsion bars, this side's torsion bar was cranked way up, so it was pushing the height of the vehicle up, and it was basically making it impossible to put the shock absorber back in. And then basically what that means is that the shock absorber is then your limiting point instead of the actual torsion bar and the control arms. So it's the shock absorber that's basically being jackhammered the whole time every time you go into a full droop situation. So obviously that's something you don't want. You want the shock absorber to be working in its sort of range, and you want the suspension and everything to be working in the same range. That's why setting up your suspension and making sure that the torsion bars and that the shock absorbers and everything work together is very important. Okay, so we are done on the front. Now, by releasing the pressure on the torsion bars, we've obviously dropped the nose quite a bit. So I think this front side here has dropped 20 mils almost. And when we get onto the rear now, these rear coils that the vehicle came with are just far too heavy duty for the way I intend on using this vehicle. This vehicle is going to be lightweight, hop in and go, short trips, little day drives, things like that. So it does not need a heavy duty suspension in terms of 400, 500 kilo payload rear springs to carry draw systems and all of that stuff. I really want this vehicle to be lightweight and accessible, and I think that's what keeps this thing feeling great. So we are going to be putting in some 50 to 300 kilo progressive coils in the back, so it can handle, you know, easy driving, just normal day-to-day stuff, but it can also handle a bit of camping gear and some stuff in it, just nothing overly laborious or anything hectic for the vehicle to, you know, have to deal with, which I think that is going to help motivate me to keep as little stuff in the vehicle as possible and not overload it like I have in the past.
The brake pads look alright.
And those discs?
Disc doesn't look worn. It's always a thinner disc at the back.
Is it?
And smaller, yeah. It doesn't look too bad, but still it's not Terrain Tamer's high performance discs and pads. So for safety we'll go for that.
Linkages, rubbers, all those things?
Bit
Bit cracked.
Bit cracked. But he's gonna have to take them, loosen them now, so we can check them.
It's quite a frisk coil they got in there.
Yeah, PS.
PS.
Sterk.
Yes, this is a skinny shock in comparison to what's going in there. Easy, baby. Good luck getting to that one, Andrew. That looks like a real fun time.
Yes, it is.
Glad it's you and not me. Yun. There it goes. Nice one, Andrew. Good job. Is it how different is that to the 80?
A little bit more different.
A little bit more work. Yeah.
Doesn't flex that much.
Hey, I take that personally, thank you very much. My 100 series flexes more than sufficient. Is this so this is the 50 to 300. There's a lot less coil going on there. But you can see the progressive wrap.
Yeah.
Okay. Just going to ride a bit softer in the rear, that's for sure. It is quite hard at the moment, so that will be nice. Okay, so we're also replacing these. This one looks a little bit worse for wear, and this is sort of what seats the coil in the rear. So we've got some fresh ones here that Terrain Tamer had in stock. Toyota original parts as well, so it's pretty good. We're going to pop those in now.
That's how it goes.
Nice. It's going to be a lot more comfy.
Yeah.
Now the shock. Yeah. Look at us. So now these shocks go a bit more on volume of oil than using gas to increase the boiling point. So these have got plenty of volume of oil, and that will also help in reducing fade and things like that. So it's just different ways of doing things. Also, if you think about it, there's no gas, there's no cavitation, so you know there's always pros and cons to all sorts of different types of shock absorbers and how they work. These are just what they found work quite nicely on the 100 series. Got a good old Toyota lean back there. Looks like lifting a bit higher on the driver's side. Classic look. So the next steps now are going to be basically adjusting the torsion bars to get the vehicle level the way it should be. And yeah, obviously because it was set up maximum, we've now got to sort of find a happy medium. Now the Terrain Tamer suspension kit recommends not exceeding 25 mils of height increase in the front on the torsion bars. so we'll have to just be relatively cautious in how much we take it up. But the vehicle is definitely a little bit lower, which is exactly what I was wanting. And yeah, but we'll look at the measurements and stuff. It might not be a lot lower, but I think it'll be a lot more in spec for what it's going to be used for, and for the best overall balance between safety, performance, and comfort. What was the front here?
30. It's 730 and we have to go up to about 780.
Nee, jy kan nog gaan, ek sal vir jou stop. Hy's nou by 440 amper.
So yesterday the upgrading of the shock absorbers and all of that stuff went really well. We did just pick up that the torsion bars are just not, one of the torsion bars is basically completely gone and is not supporting the vehicle anymore, so it's being having to be pushed to absolute extremes to actually get the safe riding height out of the vehicle. So we are going to have to replace the torsion bars. We were going to do it at some point anyway, but we didn't really think that we'd have to do it so soon. But anyways, we can get going on that. Once this vehicle has passed the roadworthy, we can still go and pass the roadworthy with it as it is. Two of the other things that came up on the list were we needed to bleed the brakes, and he had picked up an oil leak, which we have sort of sussed out mostly. We think it's the valve cover gasket, which is a typical thing to change on these vehicles when they get to higher mileage, and it has been dripping down the block of the engine, and it looks almost like it's a sump or something like that, but you can see where it's basically coming from. So we're just giving it a good clean, hitting a reset point, so we can manually see actually where is any oil coming from. I've been checking the oil regularly, the levels are not dropping. I've been checking all the other fluids, everything is okay. The only thing that seems to lose a bit of water every now and then is the radiator. And yeah, just keeping on top of everything and seeing how we're going to move forward with it. A lot of what I want to do with this vehicle is just set a good ground zero, so going forwards we can keep on top of the maintenance. With your nice cute little pink bottle.
Your pink bottle, not mine.
No, this is your cute pink bottle.
Nothing with this pink bottle.
The big scary on the 100 series is this thing here. It's the ABS booster master cylinder situation, and that is a very expensive part to replace if you need to replace it. Like, we're talking 60,000 Rand type of expensive, so it's pricey. There are a few ways to check on it though, and just to make sure that it is operating correctly, make sure that the fluid levels are right, and it's just important to know how to sort of look after the system, what to check for, and try and mitigate any sort of issues with it, because it does fall into safety when it comes to brakes, and if this unit fails you can have a total loss of braking, so that's not really something we want. So keeping an eye on it, servicing the brake system regularly, changing the brake fluid, making sure it's fresh, and yeah, just keeping an eye on how long it takes for the accumulator to charge up in the morning when you start the car. And there's a lot of little things to check on it, but it's not too bad. But today all we need to do is just bleed the brakes, and while we're doing that we'll also just make sure that the brake fluid levels are exactly where they need to be. They have been a little bit high on here, and that's not ideal.
The brakes are much better.
Is it? That is absolute luxury feel, Nikki.
Almost like an 80.
Almost like an 80. Brakes feeling better? It's riding a hell of a lot better now with the shocks done, brakes done, new tires. It's like a different car.
It feels like a different car. Must have
Just needs the torsion bars done now. You can feel the one feels a bit agitated.
Yeah, it's done its duty.
It is. So there we go, roadworthy has passed. Good job, Nikki and Terrain Tamer. Now we can let the fun begin. So, I must say, it was a bit nerve-wracking bringing the vehicle here for the first time, and it didn't pass its roadworthy. You have a bit of a stress, but I actually found the experience quite nice because you bring the vehicle in, and it's a good thing, I think, to do either before you buy a vehicle, would be the smart thing to do. Never trust if someone else says it's past roadworthy. You take it to a place that you trust and get them to have a look at it. And that is where, like, actually I went with Nicky, he checked the car, he said to me straight, this thing's not going to pass roadworthy. The person who I bought it from said, no, but it's fine, my guy sorted it out, don't worry, it passed roadworthy. I must say, after doing this experience, there's a reason a car should pass roadworthy, and the safety factor is important. Every single little step that we did to improve the roadworthiness of this vehicle and to get it to this point of passing has made a significant impact on the handling, the safety, and the comfort of the vehicle. So it's not a bunch of nonsense, you know, that you have to get sorted out. These are things, and what a great way. You come to the roadworthy place, you pay $650, they tell you everything that's wrong with the vehicle that's like of critical importance to change, and you know exactly how to prioritize where to start with getting your vehicle right. And it allowed us to focus very critically on the things that needed to be done first, and I must say, the vehicle is feeling great. The next things on the list is more sort of keep an eye on these things, stuff like the bushes and things like that. There's some feelings in the vehicle that I'm not comfortable with. There's a bit of a clunking from reverse to drive, which is a common problem in these vehicles, and we do sort of know how to diagnose where that problem comes from. So we will be looking into that in the next episode. There is also a bit of a shudder on the brakes, so we'll also be looking into that. And really, we're just going to tick through the things that are sort of, this thing pops up and that becomes the new challenge to try and sort out. But so far, so good. The vehicle is feeling, driving, just everything about it is so much better. The sound deadening that I've put in has made a huge difference. I've got a new radio in, so I've got my Bluetooth and my navigation and stuff there, and really the whole vehicle is coming together so nicely. Now that the vehicle is safe and it's comfortable, I'm absolutely loving it, and I cannot wait to start moving forward on other projects. So I think we'll catch you in the next episode when we're going to be looking at the torsion bars. We're going to be looking at checking the clunking noise in the driveline, and probably looking at the brakes and stuff like that as well. So, we'll catch you on the next one. Cheers for now.